We united and formed teams in order to create this project. We share ideas and research to find out more about Chernobyl nuclear reactor disaster, how this made an impact, and how we can use math outside the classroom and take it in a place to our real lives. Here is a short video of the reaction this event had on our world.
Why hasn't it been possible to contain the nuclear energy and substance generated by the nuclear reactor's explosion in Chernobyl 1986? It wasn't possible to contain the nuclear energy, even though with all the precautions used to build the reactors, it is not possible to contain all of the radioactivity since it goes in the air particles and it may spread thousands of miles in all directions.
What is that makes nuclear energy to be so dangerous? Nuclear energy can be very dangerous because the radioactive waste does not disappear completely. This is the reason why the people in Chernobyl had to be evacuated almost immediately after the accident. This radioactivity can cause cancer, birth defects, and mutations.
Why is it said that a nuclear reaction generates an exponential growth of atoms? When the neutron fires to start the reaction, it strikes with the atom and it splits in 3 neutrons. And then the neutron splits in 3 more atoms. And for every atom split, there are 3 more neutrons that are released along with energy. And this is how it generates exponential growth and mass destruction.
When will the nuclear energy and substances released by the explosion be dissolved and can they be cleaned up? According to a Russian ecologist, the radioactivity would be impossible to clean up. It will take at least 300,000 years to completely dissolve. As time passes, the level of radioactivity will decrease in Chernobyl, but since it was the nucleus of the accident, it will take many years to completely dissolve.
Exponential function.
What is an exponential function?
An exponential function is a mathematical function of f of x equals a to the power of x, where a is a constant and x is known as a variable. The basic exponential function is f of x equals 3 to the power of x, one basic graph.
This function has a domain of all real numbers since it goes from negative infinite all the way to positive infinite. Its range goes from 0 to positive infinite. If the function has no shifting, upwards, downwards, or sideways, the key point should be 0,1. The base, or constant, should be bigger than 0 but should not be equal to 1.
The basic graph is shown below.
Exponential growth. The answer gets bigger or grows exponentially.
Exponential decay. The answer gets smaller, decays exponentially.
The Chernobyl nuclear accident, located in Ukraine, of 1986 was the worst nuclear accident in the history of mankind. This nuclear accident was caused by a flawed reactor and inadequately trained personnel.
2 workers died due to the explosion and more than 100 people, mostly firefighters, received high doses of radioactivity. Of these 100 people, some lost their lives in the following weeks and months. Large amounts of radioactivity were released into the atmosphere, spreading over Europe and the USSR. The accident happened while an experiment was tested. The test was about a way of cooling the core of the reactor in case of emergency situation. A real-life event can be seen when measuring atmospheric pressure, the pressure of the air. The pressure decreases as you go higher, exponential decay. It decreases about 12% for every 1,000 meters.
A real-life event can be seen when measuring the growth of a population. For example, the world population growth rose 1.5% per year from 1950 to a peak of over 2% in the early 1960s due to a reduction in mortality.
An exponential function is the increase of a number or size with a constant growth rate applied to a continuously growing base over a period of time. The function of exponential growth is f of x equals to 3tx. It's a graph that has a key point 0, 1 and is increasing with y equals 0 asymptote. This is a model of how exponential growth and decay works. It is represented on the graph. Two main characteristics are the following. The first one is the power because the exponential growth can occur very fast, and the second characteristic is the incidence. It's a decrease at a rate proportional to its current value. It's the process of reducing an amount by a persistent percentage rate over a certain period of time. The implication of using nuclear energy is that it has high risks like death or diseases. However, the implication is that nuclear power emits small amount of carbon dioxide and that greenhouse gases provide nuclear energy to the global warming. Yes, we consider that using nuclear energy reduces the emissions of carbon dioxide per year. It doesn't produce greenhouse gases or any pollutants. Instead, it helps to produce more energy for our own use. No, we weren't aware that there is a nuclear plant in Mexico. It is located in Laguna Verde, Veracruz. We don't think that it's safe, but it's a necessity for us as a country.
We think that the nuclear plants are a necessity for us to produce energy, but that doesn't mean they aren't dangerous. With all the safety requirements and with the right capacitation for the workers, they will get a better result. Yes, it could be prevented if the Soviet authorities should have the right safety protocol. All this was because the Soviet Union stayed negligent and because they want to install the plant quickly, avoiding the safety protocol. At the moment it occurred the explosion, they wouldn't have time to act. But recently, a bunch of workers started to build an arch to stop the spreading of radiation all over the country. It is a concrete arch that will stop the spreading of radioactivity, but it won't reduce it at all. No, we don't think that it reached Mexico because the distance between Mexico and Ukraine is a big amount. The countries that the radiation reached were the ones who were in a short distance of Ukraine, like Poland, France, Russia, Denmark, etc. "70% of the fallout from the Chernobyl accident landed on Belarus and it contaminated 23% of the country. High levels of radiation, the weather conditions changed drastically, excessive radiation in the forest and sea. Some of the consequences of using nuclear power or nuclear weapons are radioactivity, genetic mutations, radioactive fallout, or water and forest contamination. We think that this is a big issue and that we should give it the importance it deserves, because even though it's difficult that another nuclear accident happens, we should be prepared for everything and have the preparation needed. A solution can be to have a backup plan for any problem it presents at the time of prove it. Make the needed tests to be prepared for any inconvenience. Have the people prepared in the way that they know how, when, and where to act. This is a good way for working in projects because like this we have the chance to interact with other students of different campuses. It was a little bit difficult in the aspect of communication because it was all through messages. What we liked the most was that we get the experience of having different opinions and the way they work in other campuses.